I have to show you this. The only game on WoT replays for the 1-2-1 is literally this one right here. There is one game, and it's 8,500 damage. We are definitely going to watch this. I'm very curious to see how this thing reacts to being buffed. Like, no one plays this tank anymore, so I want to see how it performs, because I've always wanted a 1-2-1. All right, so this is someone's name that there's no way in hell I will ever pronounce. I'm not even going to try. It's like, yeah, I can kind of barely do Russian names, but no chance for this one. So, well, he's on the map Lakeville. There's 3 Artie. This is wild. And they have got 5. I'd say 6 mediums, because the 277 is kind of a medium. You could also say so is the 50B. So how is their team going to play on average if you were on this map? Well, if you're in a 1-2-1, I would go to the city because you're going to do well there regardless. You're already safe and so on. You would expect actually a reasonable amount of their team to go city, but you could also expect them to be sniping. With mediums, it's really hard to predict. Now, this guy's clearly good enough to 3-mark his tank, so where's he going to go? Looks like he's starting off in the middle of the map. Now, why would this be good? Well, he shouldn't get artied too much if he sits in a position like this. And if he pushes into the mid, I haven't seen this play in years. I used to do it all the time in my lights, but you'd find you'd get YOLO'd. He's pushing into the mid on his 3-mark game. This is super freaking aggressive. And what he's done is he's stopping on this rock. So looking at it, there's a gap right here that he's going to have shots through. He's a 1-2-1. He's going to be perfectly held down. I think this is kind of risky considering the triple arty, but you can see he's kind of already safe with tanks to his left. And he's got shots on the IS-7 Jagdpanzer, and there's a bat shot in the valley. So this is actually really strong. Now, I've got this at normal speed. He's aiming really quick. He should get a shot on the 1-2-1 right here. Or, sorry, the IS-7. There you go. And so he's fired 3 times, and not a single shot has hit anything. That's wildly unlucky, especially for a 3-mark game. Now, 430's in the open. That one goes in. Normally, you'd expect that to bounce, and you can see there's a 2684 right over to his right that might actually become an issue. So he's not shooting the 2684. I think this is good. You can see he's definitely in a rough spot. Basically, what will happen is if he were to shoot at this 268 right here, the 268 would start shooting back at him, and you don't want that, right? Because the 268 can actually pen him, so I think ignoring him for now, really strong play. You can see now he notices the 268 version 4. To do this later in the game is better than not. I wouldn't be confident about these shots, but if they work, right? Like, there's a valid argument to not shooting these guys, but you can see they drive forwards. They're clearly dug in, and it's not going to cost him anything. And he's clearly more comfortable in this position than I would be. Now, looking at the map, 3 tanks in the valley, those are very tough tanks to deal with, so you wouldn't expect his team to lose the valley. You'd expect the enemy team to have sent a lot over here. As the AMX gets spotted, we don't know just yet, but his team's got 6 tanks over into the city, and so his position, very strong, because what's going to happen is the enemy... Well, there you go. He gets a quick shot onto the Badger. Great job. I actually think that was a brilliant poke. As his team pushes into the city, he'll get more damage because the I-7 and 268 will have to fall back. So really strong position. His 3 already aren't going to be doing much. It's fine, and he's got a 62A in front of him. And then that I-7, you can see that's where the source of the damage seems to be coming from. So I don't know why he's driving back and forth. He should just aim. There you go. Eventually the 268 is going to fall back. He gets a shot onto the 268. The one goes into the I-7 there, so really great job. T62A is kind of pushing in, but the 2684 is right in front of him, so that one goes in. Perfect. And now his TVP is starting to push in. So you don't know if he's going to get much more damage from this position anymore, because you can see his teammates are starting to push the city. So maybe his position's used up, right? So is the valley okay? That would be my question looking at this. Well, no, the E3 died in the valley. That's fucking shitty. He gets a shot into the AMX. And so what you might expect is this replay might be really good damage-wise, because he's going to get a shitload of damage on the AMX and Badger. You can see the AMX is looking at him. I would poke right now. The AMX is looking away. He decides not to. I also think that's, like, I think it's smarter not to poke, honestly. He pokes now that he doesn't know where the AMX is looking. You can see he's lucky. I would say it's lucky that the AMX is looking away. Takes that shot. Now he's in a really good side-scraping position, and he's not getting artied here, interestingly. So normally Artie would kind of sit in A5, and that's where you'd get hit by Artie in this type of position, but it's working really nicely. So 50B right there. I'm going to use this position. This is fucking wild. He gets a shot into the 50B. That one goes in. Perfect. He's up to 4k damage, 1200 spotting. So 4.5k to go. He might get a second one right here. Doesn't go in. Like, he doesn't take it. It would never have gone in anyways. The enemy team is doing fine in the valley on the map. If we look over there manually, though, you can see it. They're actually doing just fine. It's basically an even fight right there. They're not going to push the valley just yet. So 50B is losing his HP. You can see this position doesn't have as many shots because the enemy team is stuck in the city. Gets a shot to the 50B, who has nowhere else to go realistically. The Progetto's a one-shot. You'd expect that Progetto to probably die, We'll see what happens. 50B drives into the open. Okay, so gets the kill on the 50B. That's pretty good. And now they've got a 430U, and he's still got 4k damage to go. So how are you going to turn this into a good game? So it's really close at this point, and you've got 3 tanks in the city, 2 tanks in the valley. Personally, he hasn't even looked over to the valley. That's no surprise. He's got a lot going on. I would think that Badger's not looking at him, so this cross is great, and then I would be checking the valley. So Progetto's pushing. He's going to die. So with the Progetto pushing on the map, you would expect your team to probably win the valley, not gonna lie. That Progetto just threw away all his HP. And what the 121 is doing here, I'm not gonna try to say his name, is pushing in. So he's gonna find the Badger. This is great. He's got full HP. He can totally make this work. Now, gun depression's a bit of an issue. He fell back. This ridge right here prevented him from getting that shot off, so he fell back. It was greater. A lot of people will push forwards in that type of situation. Falling back like he did is the right one, as opposed to overextending. Now, second shot doesn't go in. He can just go to the right here and drive around the AMX to probably get a better deal with this gun depression. You can see that's exactly what he does. And then from here, Badger's looking directly at him. So is it a good idea to trade with a Badger? No. He's side-scraping to try to give himself a bit of an advantage. That works out. The Badger misses his shot. The Badger's shooting AP, so it's not really ever going to pen out a side-scraping type of angle. 5,500 damage. Badger's still there. So the Badger's now hull down. These shots are never going to go in. This fight isn't worth it. You can see he's losing the valley at this point in time. So I don't think this fight is good. The best play for him at this point in time is to probably just leave the Badger and then go back to base. But it looks like I'm surprised. He has green right here. So if he's able to kill the Badger, go for it. Because if he can do that, that lets him flank the valley, of course, and kill Artie and all that kind of shit. The fact that he hasn't been clicked here is also impressive. You would expect Artie and A1 to just be annihilating him at this point. But because he might be able to kill the Badger, this is beginning to become viable. What I want to see is when he goes back, if he does at all. So you can see he's starting to push in because the Badger's falling back. It looks like he has no inclination to go back to base. So from this point, he's trying to maybe take a hit, gets a shot to the Badger. Badger's now a one-shot. HE would be really reasonable here because you only have the Badger and Artie to shoot at this point in time. And, you know, Heat is going to be less reliable than HE for this instance right here. So he drives towards, takes a hit. He wouldn't have had to take the hit if he had shot HE. He drives towards further. He spots the T92. If this was HE, I think you could pen right where he's aiming right here. That shot goes in. T92 just fired. So should he push in at this point? Well, there's a bat shot in his base, and he's got this T92 right here. I think staying is fine, because there could be the CGC right to his left. He sees the 261. Going after him is absolutely the right idea right here, and he should be able to just pick up the frag right there. So he misses the 261, actually. And, well, there's the GW100, not the CGC. So GW100 kills him. He just tanks the shot because he can. He's finally shooting HE. You don't shoot HE at a GW100. That's the one already you don't want to shoot HE at. And because he's got HE loaded, if he low rolled the GWs, there you go. So HE fucked him over in this instance, and it's costing him a lot of HP. I thought for the Badger T92 situation, HE would have been fine. But, you know, obviously when you're shooting at a GW100, you open yourself up to making a 2-shot tank into a 3-shot. So it's just not worth it. Now, presumably the bat shot's really high HP. The person we're watching, this 121, he's a 2 to 3 shot for the bat shot. So he could probably deal with him, especially if the bat shot starts missing, but the bat shot just killed a 261 in the 0 line. So it's never going to be in the valley. The best play, well, from here is probably actually just to push. If you were the bat shot, how would you approach this? Well, if you knew where this teammate, if these guys were, you would never push through the city, but the bat shot doesn't know that. The bat shot's probably going to assume that people are driving towards the cap, and so he's going to come back to base trying to reset. So this play right here is actually the best one available to him, because guessing what the Batchet knows, you would kind of expect him to start coming back to base. Now, we're on cap. That's going to further the pressure. The Batchet can't cap out anymore to win. And the 121 driver here's come up to this rock. So this is actually really strong, because if the Batchet wants to reset, he's going to be right here. If you haven't found the Batchet maybe a minute into this, you would want to go back, because he might have gone up to the valley. Now the Batchet just killed the FE. The FE is pinging G4, so you know the Batchet's over there. But you don't necessarily know if he's going to rotate back and come up the valley. So the right play from the 121's perspective is absolutely what he's doing. He's going to come over to here. This puts him in a better position to deal with the Batchet if he comes up the mid or the 1 line. Now the Batchet's now caught out in the mid, kind of in the open. He can't leave this position, and he's going to side scrape, put that shot into him, and the Batchet's YOLOing the Artie. So the Artie's a 2-shot for the Bat. That's really good, actually. From our perspective, that's huge. So if he gets a second shot into the Batchet, Batchet's now a 1-shot, and he's YOLOing. So this game, he might kill the Artie, but this should be the end right there. There you go. So that's the replay. No one played. Holy shit, that was really good. Let's go look at the end plates. I'm really happy with that one. he played really well, actually, and I think I'm going to start playing like that on this map. I really liked the position, and I don't know if it's luck that it worked with 3 arty, but it did work with 3 arties, so there's definitely a lot of potential on this map. I think that going to skills position up here on the north side works really well, and then I'm going to start trying out this one. So I've got an advertisement from Ridge Wallets. They sponsored me once again for this video, so here's the ad. After it, we'll go look at the end. This video is sponsored by Ridge Wallets. Now, Ridge has been a sponsor of my channel for ages, mainly because they actually pay me a shitload of money to do these videos, but I also use their products on a daily basis. You can see right here, I've actually got the wallet I use in real life. This is my carbon fiber Ridge wallet. This thing's kind of expensive, but I've had it for like a year now, and I expected there to be quality issues with carbon fiber because carbon fiber is so light, and literally I've had this thing for super long and it hasn't scratched. There's no scratches on it whatsoever. They also have sent me a Damascus steel wallet, which is so expensive I'm actually scared to use it, but it's pretty wild. It looks amazing. I would suggest getting this over carbon fiber if you can afford either. I can't. I'm lucky with my job. They also sent me their backpack, and this is another product I use of theirs on a regular basis. You can see this is a photo of me on Mount Rundle. This is supposed to be an 8-hour hike. For us, we got lost. It turned into a 12-hour hike, and the whole time I wore the backpack, no issues at all, and I had a blast doing it. So if you want to get these for yourself, you can do so by clicking the link in the video description. Use the code Lemming for 10% off. It also ensures that I keep getting paid by them. That concludes the ad. Let's get right back into the video. All right, so congrats on the 3 mark. I thought you played really well, actually. It was a really good game. I would never have gone there myself, especially if I was at close to 3 marking. 8,586 damage, Top Gun, lots of spotting, 1440 base XP. Really, it was a fantastic game. There's not much to say about it. Like, you clearly carried. So amazing job. Really enjoyed watching it. Thank you for uploading it. And yeah, that's the video. If you want to see more, be sure to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I hope to see you around. Later, guys. Bye-bye.